What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown. This is episode 36. This is our first episode in a little while. We've got a lot to talk about. Not as much what's going on the court, but a lot of what is going on off the court in regards to how this team will look in just a couple weeks. So that's will be a big topic of discussion today. West, how are you feeling? It's been a while since we talked about the Blazers.
What's up, guys? I am doing well. Funny thing is the Blazers have a winning record since we last did a podcast, which is kind of what we don't want if we're trying to tank. But at the same time, it's cool. Anthony Simon's been balling out. Nishair Little's been playing well. All the young guys have been playing hard, which has been good to see. It's been nice not having much expectation on the team. So I would say I'm in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording this as of the Miami game right now. It's currently 16-16 in the first quarter. But we wanted to go ahead and get this podcast up, so we'll post it for you guys as of the day following the Miami game. Cody, how you feeling? We'll talk quickly at the beginning. You went to a Blazer game recently, if I'm correct.
Yes, I did. We were 4-2 since last podcast, and one of those games was a W against the Brooklyn Nets. Really random. 2 hours before the game, Dad's just like, "Hey, want to go to the game?" So I ended up going to that. Saw Kyrie Irving for the first time.
You had like really insane seats, right?
Yeah,
Were they like second row? I could see you on the TV.
Yeah, it was third row. I could hear Kyrie talking. It was awesome seeing Kyrie, player I haven't seen before. KD, I saw him before, but seeing him again was cool. Obviously, no Dame, no Harden. A little disappointed, but that was a great win against a really great team. And yeah, anyway, just in general, I think it's good as Blazer fans. It's kind of like a win-win situation. If you win a game, it's like you win, but if you lose, it's like not the end of the world. Like Wes said, good not having high expectations. Like you said, Simon's balling out. So, yeah, feeling pretty good.
Quick question. Were tickets expensive for that? Like, are tickets super cheap right now?
Tickets are
Especially
super
now.
cheap right now. Portland's not that wealthy of a place, but mix that with being one of the worst teams in the league, and you can get a third row ticket for under $200. So
it's pretty good.
I don't know if I didn't ask.
So what do we want to start with? We want to start talking about trade deadline, talk about Simons, talk about
Let's talk about trade deadline. That's kind of like the most interesting thing and like the biggest national news coming out of Portland right now, I feel like.
Yeah, and we can throw a lot of things in that for sure.
Let's just start with like trade targets.
What have you read?
Start there. Let's just start there. So first off, I would be absolutely shocked if the Blazers didn't A, make a move, and B, have it either be Miles Turner or Jeremy Grant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty much a done deal that especially Miles Turner. Turner is at the top of our trade target right now. I read Indiana's asking for they're getting the Aaron Gordon treatment, I read, which is two firsts. They want 2 firsts or
wants a ton for everybody.
Or a pick and a young player. Picking a young player. So I've seen some trades that have kind of been thrown out there. Basically what I'm seeing from Portland is I think we're going to get a smaller move that sets up the Miles Turner move. I could see Norm's on the table here.
I've seen a lot of Norm actually recently because that would just be like a salary dump almost. Even though his contract isn't even bad.
We can guarantee that Rocco and Nurk are getting dealt. That we have to duck the tax this year. We don't duck the tax.
I'll guarantee Rocco. For some reason, I mean, I just don't know who would want Nurk. I feel like a lot of teams out there would want Rocco, though, given he can shoot and defense.
True. Rocco is a prime candidate to get traded. I think also you could see a Ben McLemore or Cody Zeller get bought out or go to the buyout market, especially Ben McLemore. McLemore is shooting and play. I could totally see the Lakers picking up Ben McLemore later in the year. But back to the point at hand, I do think the Blazers will be making a move. I think it's going to be Miles Turner. I think Rocco is going to be in that deal. Maybe I think a first and then like a younger player.
But like a younger player, do you mean like a Nasir Little?
I mean, I'm Simon's. To me,
no way.
The only untouchables right now, I think, are Dame, and I think is Simons, and I would look like Little is halfway in the door there because Little and Simons are young guys. They're the guys that are going to take over the team if that all works out, Simon's gonna, be Dame's successor when Dame decides to retire. So I don't foresee them being dealt, but I do see Miles Turner coming to Portland. I could see so we were talking about this Norman Powell before he signed with us. There were a lot of other teams that wanted him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're said to be like 12 or something.
Yeah. The main ones were New Orleans and Dallas. Dallas, I read they were trying to do a sign and trade with us in the offseason for Tim Hardaway Jr., which I'm so glad we did not do.
Yeah, I think he's making more money than Norm.
Yeah, and he's played worse. Norm's been really good this year for us.
No, Norm's been really underrated. He's at, what is he shooting? Like, is he shooting 40% from three? And he's averaging like 18.
Entirely. Yeah, no, he's definitely probably been the most consistent Blazer by far. But what I'm basically saying is I could see a Norm or a CJ. I don't know if we'll trade CJ at the deadline just with his personal life.
But it has. I saw something that it's picked up a little bit, the CJ talk, since he's come back. Like,
I mean, for
now
sure.
that he's back,
sure.
people are going to more be willing to trade for him.
Speaking of CJ, off topic, had his first kid. That would have been 4 days ago. So just a little congratulations to him there.
It's the happiest he's ever been in his life, which makes sense when you have your first kid. But like, especially amid all like the trade rumors, for him to say that, that's nice to see.
Yeah. But yeah, so congrats to CJ on that for sure. But I could see CJ or Norm, one of those two, getting dealt to maybe New Orleans. I've seen that we might make a Rocco and Nurk deal or a Rocco deal that nets us like a good young player that we can give in the Turner trade, because we're going to have to give up a pick for Miles Turner. But in my opinion, I don't really want to give up 2 firsts for Miles Turner.
Neither do I. Another thing about Turner, if we are, I mean, obviously I think we're at the point where we're trying to tank, even though we are 1.5 games in the play-in right now, which you wouldn't believe. But Turner, it was revealed today that he's got a stress fracture in his foot and he would be out until past the trade deadline. So that
which
means
is interesting, which is really interesting.
You pick him up, and that would lower his price too, you would think.
Possibly. I think the Pacers are pretty set on what they want.
Pacers, no one knows what they want because they said they want like Gordon Hayward, and what is that going to do for you?
Yeah, true. I just think that right now, I think there could definitely be a trade we make, and we're sending a player that we currently don't have on the roster right now. That comes from another deal.
It's kind of like similar to what I see like the Hawks did with like the Cam Reddish trade. Like, you could have probably got a little more than just the first round pick for Cam Reddish, especially like
you can now flip that. Yeah. The other trade candidate I saw, Jeremy Grant.
I like him, but the asking price for Jeremy Grant right now is like insane. But again, that's early. It's like 2 first round picks, a young player and like a proven player.
I don't think he's worth that.
Me neither.
But here's the thing you have to understand about Jeremy Grant. It's like Jeremy Grant plays probably at the most sought after position in the NBA. He's huge. He's long. He's athletic. He can shoot the 3 well. The problem is being in Detroit, like he's being asked to be a number 1 option in Detroit, and he was never meant to be that. So he's not,
Yeah, but he still wants to be that.
That's okay. Well, if he wants to win a championship, he should know he's not going to be a number 1 option.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many options.
I don't understand is why people don't want Jeremy Grant or are hesitant. Like, he's better than what we have on the roster.
No,
is that not the point?
No, it's because people
want to get better.
They don't want to give up too much for him. And then also he's like reported he wants like a huge contract extension. So there's just a lot of things that says he wants that he doesn't necessarily deserve. So that's the hesitancy with him.
That's true. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Jeremy Grant is getting it. I don't think he'll make any more than what CJ's making right now.
Oh, no.
That's already cheaper.
Yeah, but it's still, you don't want to be in the position where you have a player on a CJ level that's being paid that much again.
True, but at some point you're going to have to overpay at some point. Like, as a small market team, you can't. You can sell money. Like, you can be like, yeah, take, like, that's why Norm stayed. Norm wanted the bag.
I just don't know which player is most likely to get dealt on the team. I mean,
Robert Covington.
You would think it's Robert Covington, but I don't know. Who would you say, Cody? Like, not necessarily like who deserves to who like doesn't deserve to be here anymore? Because like there's some guys that have played underneath their what they were expected, but I don't know what would be the best moves.
Yeah, it's hard. You can go either way. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are at the same level in terms of, like you could say CJ, probably not Nurk, but like Rocco, Little, but I don't want to do that. It's a lot of options, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of the Blazers right now. And Joe Cronin, who I don't know how long ago it was, but he did hire another assistant GM, which probably means like if he's making moves to bolster his front office, that it's going to be Joe's like moves that he's making for the foreseeable future. And who knows, he could be our GM for the future. But there's just so many ways you could go with the trade deadline. So I just hope we don't stand pat. I hope we don't miss out on an opportunity to just make some sort of move that would change it up just a little bit. That's the issue. I want to quickly just touch on Anthony Simons because you would think he would be a guy that will be talked about a lot in these trade rumors, but he's been so incredibly good in January. I'm going to pull up his stats in January, which is basically when he started starting.
I got it. 43 points. That was Atlanta game, though. But since the podcast, 28, 14, 31, 23, 31, 13, and he has 3 currently in the first quarter. I mean, he's our go-to guy with this team right now.
And he's averaging 8 assists, which proves like he's not just the scorer. He's a passer too. So he's an all-around, like when he's given the opportunity, an elite point guard. The only like you could see him in the Magic game and the little I watched of that. He was kind of like deferring to CJ a lot, but that's expected given it was CJ's first game back. But Simons has proved himself as a passer, which I think was his biggest knock, like as a player in the past couple of years. Like everyone just thinks he's some great scorer, but not an all-around player. But he's proven that completely recently.
I think it's fair to say that he's exceeded everyone's expectations the past couple of weeks. I mean, what he's been averaging, I mean, he was averaging like 29 like 2 weeks ago.
He's in January, ever since he got the starting spot, he's averaging 26.
So yeah, but you know,
like
a CJ
50, 40, 90.
Yeah, a CJ Norm come back, you know, he'll probably his shots will, you know, but he's already proven himself. Like he's gonna get a contract extension, and hopefully, you know, we can keep him because he would be an absolute amazing piece come off the bench, or even slot in a starting role if Norm and CJ both get dealt for bench.
If we were to trade one of them, it's just good that he's raising his value tremendously. I mean,
exactly. And even like with CJ and Norm, I think a lot of people get stuck on like, oh, we have to trade CJ for an all-star, or we have to trade Norm for an all-star. It's like you can trade CJ for like picks,
trade for guys that
and
fit.
Like solid like bench pieces, not Ennis Freedom and Carmelo Anthony. That's a rough bench. It's a rough bench.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Josh Hart been thrown out from New Orleans.
That depends on who you're getting rid of. I'm not trading CJ for Josh Hart.
Not straight up, like picks and Josh Hart and other people. Like I think sometimes like people have a misconception of how players are like viewed around the league. I don't know. Like I don't think Josh Hart, from what I see, is good, but like Josh Hart would be he's starting caliber.
No, he would be. See, the issue I have with the picks, I'll take picks this year. The only reason I would want picks is yes, it would to make the other moves.
Them. That's the point.
But I mean, you got to trust the front office, but it's kind of hard to trust.
I've seen this thrown around among like people. Would you like get Josh Hart a couple picks? I don't know about a couple picks. We'll just say Josh Hart a pick and like Jackson Hayes, and you flip and you Jackson Hayes in the first for Miles Turner. Do you do that?
I mean, I don't think the Pacers do that, but I would do that for sure.
But the Pacers could.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
It's almost like you got to like.
What do you think the Pacers do? Because they don't want CJ's trash contract.
No, yeah, I just don't want to stop. The Pacers, I don't know if they even like talk to us. Just, I think they would ask for an Nasir Little and a first-round pick.
There's really no way. Miles Turner is. If it was Sabonis, then maybe.
I'm not trading Sabonis for Nasir Little and a first-round pick.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and neither would the Blazers. So why would?
I think the Blazers would.
I don't think they would.
Sabonis is like 25. Nasir's 22. And Sabonis has been an all-star. that's just like, I don't want to overvalue our players. I think like Simons, you can. I don't know about Little yet. I mean, Little's like at a more important position, but that's what I think the Sixers, or not Sixers, the Pacers would ask for, especially if they're saying they want a young player and a first-round pick. Like, that's our young player. That's like the most tradable because we only have 2.
But I don't think the Blazers are willing to trade Nasir Little for Miles Turner.
I don't know. I'm not saying they would, but I don't think that's like a hang up the phone.
No, it's not. But I think you're starting to get into the –
because like Miles Turner is like top 5 player of the year the last 5 years.
Yeah, but he's also, as we see, he's injury prone.
It's like a second injury.
Okay, well, when we got Nurk, it was the same deal. So I don't need another 7-footer with foot problems.
No, it is funny. Yeah, I know. It's funny because a tweet I saw is like suddenly once Miles Turner gets mentioned with the Blazers, he suddenly starts getting injured.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shows any Blazer big man is just going to be injured. I was reading an article earlier. It was Bleacher Report. I want to try to pull it up. It was like what they predict every team will do at the trade deadline. I want to pull it up real quick, but I'll need a second. But it was saying like they predict that we will. Wait, I got it. Let me scroll down here. Blazers. Yeah, it says trade multiple 8-figure players. So basically, what we've been saying is just get off of Rocco, Nurk, Norm. Those would be your 8-figure players, even CJ. This is what they say. They said, that popping sound you just heard, it was Portland's bubble officially bursting. With Damian Lillard shelled by potential season-ending injury, the Trailblazers are toast. Although if it's any consolation, they were probably cooked before then. Its net rating were astonishingly atrocious away from home, 2-14. The Blazers, who have a lottery-protected pick to save, should take calls on every veteran not named Lillard.
Exactly.
If there are decent or better draft picks to be found for Nurkic, Covington, or McCollum, Portland will send a few trades across the transaction log. And that's literally all they say.
So
they're basically saying, get rid of your players and
and especially you need to get rid of Rocco and Nurk, and it's more of a product of their contract than actually them. If Nurk had years left, then yeah, maybe we keep him, but he's on an expiring deal, and he'll probably want more than his 4 for $48. I mean, $12 million for Nurk is a little bit of a steal, in my opinion. He hasn't played up to it. But at the time it was.
I mean, I think even at this time it's still a steal when there's players out there that
I don't know. I mean, Norm's on 18?
Yeah. Norm's you could argue like Norm's a steal. Like for 5 years especially. Well,
the problem is that people like teams are scared by the years. Like teams like 2-year deals, 3-year deals, that's more flexible.
Who on our team is robbing us the most? Just curious.
What do you mean?
Who's robbing us the most? Whose contract is not worth it?
CJ. It's CJ. I'm sorry, but it's not his fault because, I mean, injuries play a part of it. Fit was always going to play a part of it. I mean,
but
at the time you had to make the decision. Like what you just said.
I mean, yes, Dame's going to take up half the cap. That's crazy.
Dame's going to make like $50 million when he's 36.
He deserves every penny. Sorry.
He does. You have to do that as a small market team.
No, like you got to do even at the time of the CJ contract, like even though you knew it was going to be a bad contract down the road, like that was like you had to make that move because it was still like a player that could make an all-star game, and he's still in a way an all-star caliber player. And if you just let him walk, you're not going to get a player like him again, unless obviously you traded him. But that was before we tried the whole CJ Lillard experiment.
I kind of want to go back to this Miles Turner and Jeremy Grant thing. Would say that Jeremy Grant is better than Miles Turner?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do different things, but
that's just it's more just who do you think's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they've fit with our team.
So what do you think? What do you think we have to give up for Grant if the freaking Pacers want Nasir Little? Nasir Little is our second best. Like
for Grant, this is funny. I did a trade on 2K, but like 2K is not the best way to go. They accepted a Nurk, Covington, and a first.
I think the Pistons would take Nurk. I really do.
See, I think if you did like a Nurk, even if you like maybe even do like a CJ there, but I feel like that's kind of downing CJ's value. But I don't know CJ's value since like everyone's saying he's a negative asset.
I just don't know if the Pistons would go with the CJ route. I
don't even think they would either.
I think they'd go like Rocco.
I think a Nurk wouldn't be the worst.
Or sorry, Nurk, 2 first, Nurk, young player pick. I really think the Pistons would be interested in Nurk, especially because he's an expiring deal and they're a trash team. So, and the Pistons need center help. I mean, right now it's Isaiah Stewart and Luka Garza.
I got more trade rumors. Although the Trailblazers may be settlers in the short term, the team would still like to land an impact player to pair with Damian Lillard for when he gets healthy. According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, who hears that Jaylen Brown and Jeremy Grant are among the potential targets on Portland's radar. The Blazers were believed to be interested in Miles Turner, and if they're focused more on the 22-23 season, the Pacers center could still be an option worth pursuing. Jaylen Brown's a name that I would not expect to be thrown in there.
Here's the thing is, first off, with trades, you need 2 to tango. So you need both teams to be interested. And you need situations from opposing teams where they would even – like if the Celtics were a top 5 seed right now, they're not fielding calls. But because they've struggled, they're starting to question, can Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown coexist? I don't either, but I think
he's a good fit for our team.
What, Jaylen Brown?
I think he would, just because am I getting switched with someone? He's good at defense, right?
Yeah, he's
really good. But yeah, surprisingly, Boston. Did you guys know that they are in the plan right now?
That's sad for what they have.
They were like yesterday. I don't know. Maybe they won in the last 2 days, but
I bet they still
are. I saw
are.
something that the plan yesterday, which is just ridiculous with that team of theirs. But obviously, that would give them, a reason to switch some players around. Just like us. I mean, we're probably in a worse situation, but we have an excuse because we don't have Dame. But yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think Boston's another team that could use a center. I don't know if they go the CJ route, just because CJ is a direct downgrade from Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, the thing is, they want like a ball handling point guard that like can pass. I don't know if CJ's that.
Is Simons on the table for Jaylen Brown or not?
I would think so. Yeah.
Jaylen
Brown's still young, and Jaylen Brown's like,
Simons is the future.
I'm not. No, but
I'm not.
You're saying on the table. That's all.
I think you keep Simons for the sole reason that Jaylen Brown has no reason to re-sign. Simons would re-sign and totally take over the team when Dame's done. And then, I don't know. I put Little on the table for sure.
No, for sure. See,
I just don't. Oh,
it's talking about guys that are still young, like 25 and under, and have already proven themselves to be an all-star in the league. Like, there's no reason I want to trade for him. Like, obviously, Little's on the table. Everyone's on the table except Dame and possibly Simons. But I would still even think about Simons because, like, Simons, as good as he's looked, it's been 7 games. Like, I still think was going to be really good. But I don't want to, like, hold on to him so much that we miss out on getting a really good player.
That's true. If Simons is what it all depends on what Boston's asking for. Like, I think Simons and like I'd say Nurk, Simons, and 2 firsts is too much for me.
Yeah, probably.
That's too much.
2 firsts, that's a little much.
Now, if
I think it would have to.
Would I rather trade 2 firsts? I think it's going to come down to like, would you rather trade 2 firsts or like Simons and a first? And I would rather trade my future because Simons is the future. That's literally him right there.
A guaranteed good player instead of
picks are only as picks are only as valuable as how well you draft. Good. Well, picks are only as valuable as how well you draft. Like.
And if you're trading for Jaylen Brown, who you would think is going to make you better, trading your picks wouldn't be that big of a deal because you're expecting to be good.
Exactly. And, again, like I said, picks aren't automatically worth something. It's the player that's in that slot. I mean, in 2012, we had 6 and 11. We had great value. We got Dame. We got Myers Leonard. I mean, come on. But I was reading a report Or I was just thinking
Myers,
also, just like.
Is Myers playing in the Miami game right now?
Why?
Probably,
Wait,
like
why?
cranking Fortnite since Tilted's back.
Jeez, Tilted.
Tilted Towers is back. I haven't landed there yet, but
Oh, have you played?
Myers is probably there right now though. But
Let's hopefully his mouth is shut. I mean, yeah, that was unfortunate. But speaking of Myers Leonard, is that Myers Leonard has not, like, he was the only stretch big that we've had with Dame, and I think Miles Turner would be a great fit. Jeremy Grant would be a good fit. Jaylen Brown would be a good fit because in the end, like, talent wins. And if you can get Miles Turner and improve your team, you've done your job. I mean, I think like the peak for the Blazers, like, our goal should be like anywhere from like the 2 to 4 seed. We can say 1, but like
no, like in the playoffs, yeah.
1 seed, 2 to 4 seed. You want home court. Like, if you're solidly a top 3 seed, I mean, right now you have Phoenix, Utah, and Golden State.
Even the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies are coming along nicely.
Yeah,
Grizzlies are solid.
Having a year.
John Morant, have an absolute year.
Now, when people say he's better than Dame, I'm not allowed to argue with them. I have to accept that. Not that he's better, but just that he's.
I think it's Dame's out. I'm not even going to entertain that argument. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Would you rather have Dame with bum abs or Ja?
Ja.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, would you rather have CJ with a collapsed lung or Jeremy Grant? So Jeremy Grant. Yeah. So.
CJ's having a little game right now. I'm like peering over at the TV every once in a while. Every time I look, anytime he shoots, he's hitting a shot. I think he's got at least double-digit points.
We're winning, aren't we? Let me check.
Boosting that? No, we're not winning.
Good.
We're down 6. Which, again, goes me to the last topic I want to talk about before we wrap up, is the fact that we are still in the plan. And this team at the moment is talented enough to get into the plan. Let's be honest.
Right. Yep.
So how do you work with that if you're the Blazers, the front office, whoever's calling the shots on if we want to lose or not, which I would assume everyone wants us to. Like, the
young players are just going to do their best. I mean, Simons, he wants to obviously get a bank of a deal whenever that is to come. But in terms of the coaches and everything, obviously Dame is out for 6 months or 6 weeks. I hope he's not.
Let's just say season, most likely.
Well, let's say season, but
that's 6 months.
It's
Simon just hit another 3. He's already got 3 threes.
I don't know. I'm gonna just be honest. It might be a gut feeling. I think we're in the plan.
For sure. I think the trade deadline is obviously going to be a big shakeup. Like, we could end up trading players and not get back players that would help us this year, which I think would be best case scenario. Like, trade players that are good next year, though. Still.
That's the thing. It's like, if you trade for a Jeremy Grant Jeremy Grant's hurt and Miles Turner's hurt, but
it's good.
It's not out for the year. It's like, if you trade for those guys, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the Blazers play the injury report to maximize their chances of losing, or they actually just say screw it and they try to get into the playoffs, and then Dame comes back at the end of the year. I don't know.
We win the championship.
It's all okay.
But
I just wish that stupid pick wasn't such a big deal.
Yeah,
I've never been in the lottery in my time liking the Blazers, so I feel like a draft lottery would be kind of fun.
I don't know how. I mean, yes.
This team is talented. It's hard to lose when you're talented.
If we tank, is that one pick or whatever, that one player, going to be what gets us that ring? It's like, sometimes I overview it and be like, it's just a pick. We already have something to trade for.
It doesn't just get you a ring, but just having the pick and having, again, just more options on what to do with it. Trade the pick, take the pick, and even if you take the pick, that just boosts your young core to where if the time comes, inevitably it will most likely come where Dame is not Dame anymore. You have a group of guys, 2 or 3 that are okay, this is our future. This is the next step. And they're actually high picks and talented players.
I got a question for y'all as we wrap up. What is your ideal starting 5 next year that's realistic? So we probably can't get all 3 of those guys. What's your ideal starting 5 that's realistic?
I think for sure. I mean, obviously Dame's in it.
I don't know. I don't wear benches, whatever.
I'll say.
I would think Norm is still in it. We could trade Norm, but I think his contract is good. I think we want to keep him. So I'll say Norm's still in it. I'll say CJ's gone, whether that's for this. I'll say CJ or we're trading CJ. I'm going to throw Ben Simmons in that. I still think Ben Simmons is still a viable option for us because Philly's not getting players back. Like I think CJ's the best player available that Philly could get.
Yeah, shocking because Ben Simmons' value is so low, and they're asking for so much.
It's low, but yeah, they don't think it's low. And I'll throw in one of the two, Turner or Grant, because I really realistically think of like we're going to see two new players in the starting lineup next year that are like actually like real good players. So it's too hard to predict. But basically,
yeah, I mean, just what's your ideal?
I don't know what people's values are.
I mean, I would say
give me yours.
I would say Dame Norm. I would say Jeremy Grant, Miles Turner. And then for the small forward, if Little's on the team, you slot him in there, or you go sign a guy like a Morris or
so in that scenario,
Jay Crowder.
You're trading like where just like
Gordon Hayward on the MLE.
You don't have
Where
to
does Simons play out on this? Is he on the bench?
Simons?
Yes, Simon. If you have a solid starting lineup with Simons and Little come off the bench, and what I mean by that is like okay, so Simons is your Jordan
Simons
Clarkson,
like Tyler Hero,
or your Joe Ingles, or your Tyler Hero,
like averaging 20 off the bench.
Yeah, like he's going to be paid like a starter. He's going to get minutes like a starter. He just comes off the bench, and there's like probably your small forward, or even like Norm. I mean, I really don't want to have to close the 3-guard lineups if I'm being honest, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think the small forward position is interesting because, like, I guess like Jaylen Brown he's still a little small for a small forward. I mean, he plays shooting guard.
I think
I don't
think
we get him. We're not getting him. I think we get Turner. I think Grant's close. I could see us getting both, but bank on one.
Yeah, I would say I'll get us like a 75% chance to get one of those players, at least.
I saw Sabonis was kind of floated around, but I think it's Turner over Sabonis all the way.
Yeah, just based on fit for sure.
I mean, yeah, Turner can shoot the 3, and he's a great defender, and he's athletic too. You don't play drop coverage with Nurk, and then when you do freaking
and Turner wants out of Indiana because he says he wants to go score somewhere. He wants to go average 20.
Do we even want Miles Turner? Because there's a better Turner out there we can get.
I already know who you're talking about.
Don't even say it.
He closed out Game 7. Not closed out, but was a part of the closeout in Game 7.
Can we talk about how that man made $75 million in 4 years? How is that possible? What was Neil thinking? What was he thinking?
I'm going to give Evan Turner some claps.
Neil has done – no, I'm just kidding. Neil has done
another 3.
Neil has done so many bad things. It's hard to keep track of. I'll give him one thing that he did well, and that was draft guards. My man knew how to draft some guards. My man drafted Dame, CJ, Simons, and Gary Trent Jr. So respect to that. I mean, that's 4 solid. Other than that, he sucks.
I saw a stat. It was – there's no way this is right. I'm probably thinking of someone else, but like Durant made less money than Turner in those years or something like that. Maybe it wasn't Durant.
Probably someone like that is like that.
It was a crazy play.
It might have been like
that's
Curry.
Sad.
Because that's before Curry got a huge contract, and I know he had a small
when KD
contract.
Was on the team and he took a pay cut or whatever.
Yeah, something.
Why can't Dame? Why can't I would never ask Dame to take a pay cut, but I wonder if it ever like thinks like if I made 40 mil instead of 50 mil, that's a $10 million player that could come in and help us win. Nah, I want half the salary cap.
He could be a Tom Brady. I don't know. Speaking, who you rooting for in the Super Bowl? I'm going Packers.
You want Packers?
So
to
far.
win the Super Bowl? I don't know who I want.
That's
to win the Super Bowl?
There's no one left that I hate.
That's what I want to win.
I like the 49ers.
I like them too.
Did you see their entrance coming out of the locker room?
No.
It was like they had a huge boombox and they were just all singing, and it looked pretty cool.
How about that Cowboys game? That was funny.
The best block of the game came at the last second when they blocked it around.
Dude, one constant every year is Dallas getting bumped from the playoffs.
Thanks.
But that's pretty much all I got.
last thing, we're got like 2 minutes left in this, but CJ's got 20 points right now, and Simons has got 12. They both have 4 threes, and CJ's only taken 11 shots. 20 points.
That's
boosts the trade value.
I'm telling you, look, at this point, like his value is probably pretty much set. Like it doesn't swing on a game-to-game basis. Like, look, he'll never play up to his contract worth.
Hey, if he averages 30 over the next 2 weeks, that boosted a little bit. That's it. That's all I got.
Maybe a touch, but yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to see who we trade for him, because like I'm telling you, well, Ben Simmons, Jeremy Grant, Miles Turner on the same team, not much spacing, but it'd still be dope.
Defense.
Actually, it would be spacing. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, defense for days
And
with Norman Dame.
To the ISO Dame offense, which is fine with me.
All right, we got to wrap it up. That's going to do it for episode 36. Glad you guys stayed and watched and enjoyed it. Make sure to leave it a like, comment, subscribe. Go give it 5 stars on Spotify. And we will see you in the next podcast. Peace.